Hello everyone to this park build that we're going to go through very quickly because I don't have time on my video schedule to do a full Christmas park, especially with Battle of the Builders coming up. So what we're going to do is sort of put the Cretaceous Predator pack, Battle of the Builders, and Christmas Park in one, and build a sort of alpine forest habitat with a snowflake path design for our Utahraptors. So this video did not turn out how I wanted it to. Since I'm playing on Xbox, the video transfer is really horrible and it doesn't work well, and they need a better program. So I didn't actually end up getting a ton of the footage here. And yeah, this video is mostly the build of the guest section. But I will show you the actual habitat at the end. What I was trying to do here, I had a loose idea for what I was going to do for the terraforming. I definitely wanted this raised area to make sure it's separated from the rest, which always creates issues with the path because you always have to figure out what to do to make the path go up on the terrain without looking horrible. I think I figured out a decent solution, but something kind of unique I was doing with this build that I don't normally do is building this area to be symmetrical. To have the secondary plateau, which I was going to put the Jurassic World viewing platforms up here, but I couldn't get them right where I wanted them because they kept changing the terrain a little bit. So this is a lot of trial and error here to try to get this to work. So you can see that area below is going to be the Utahraptor exhibit with ramps of path with little guest sections all the way up to these platforms. And not only can you look over the habitat from here, I think it's also good because you can see a large section of the park, which will be good for tours and good for the guests just to get a good view. I finally got the platforms placed, but then they weren't centered, so I had to go back and try it again. I eventually got it kind of satisfactory. The issue with symmetrical park builds normally is that when you're building something, one little thing that's off or uncentered, you notice immediately. What I'm doing here, I lost some of that footage, as Xbox does. They need to fix that. But anyway, I'm doing this little snowflake path design, and I knew there was going to be horrible clipping, and I wanted it to be lit up anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm circling this in lights before I surround it by buildings and path, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the new path replace brush tool to replace the whole section as one path color, but the lights will be left in the pattern. This took forever to place these lights. It took about 15 minutes. Or, not quite that long. More like 10 maybe. But yeah, I'm speeding all this up, obviously. This is a speed build. It's probably going to be pretty fast, considering how much the build was missing. But this build did take me about 2 hours. This is just part of my Battle of the Builders park. You can see some of it around. If you don't know what that is, I'll link the video in the description. Yeah, you can just watch it for yourself if you want to know. But I'm trying to recolor all the lights here, and I definitely missed a few. It's about like 200 lights to recolor. I tried to leave space there for the guests to get into the viewing platform, but I don't know that they still can. I may not have left them room. It's probably fine, though. In the end, this park's probably going to be too big, and I'll have to close it anyway to preserve the frame rate. But, alright, let's see how this turned out. Alright, I think that's pretty good. I like how the lights glowed and just lighted up. It looks pretty good. I don't think it looks as good once I change the path color, but there's not a lot I could do about that. There wasn't anything I could place here aside from path that would make any sense, and the clipping would have been horrendous if I had put anything else. There we go, I tried to make some room. That's where first I tried to see if I could delete the path underneath it, but no, it was deleting the lights with it. And here I couldn't replace that section of path, so in the end I just had to delete it and replace these lights as best I could. And in the end, you'll see at the end, but the snowflake ended up not centered anyway, despite me spending quite a while trying to make sure it was. But yeah, you can see off to the sides I started the guest section in the part that didn't record for some reason. Yeah, if any of you know how to record, any way to record better on an Xbox, please tell me. it just doesn't work. So then you can see what I did with the terrain there. This is going to be very filled in with trees in the end, so I don't mind the path being so narrow there. This is going to be like a alpine dense forest that you're walking through. Obviously, this is on a temperate map, but I like having this different biome section because, you know, when you go to a zoo, they have the jungle section and the desert section and everything. It's not all just the natural wildlife. Sorry, plants, not wildlife. Obviously, a zoo doesn't just have natural wildlife. That would be more like a preserve than, I guess. I guess zoos are kind of preserves. But anyway, I wanted to include some of the new decorations, so I'm definitely going to have benches in here. Finally. And trash cans. So, let's see. I just had some of that fence there to sort of measure it out before. That got cut, too. I was measuring the fence to make sure it was symmetrical, which also took quite a while. You can see that gap there. That's an invisible fence. We're going to cover that up with trees, though. It'll look kind of good at the end. I think this build looks decent overall in the end. Unfortunately, as I've said probably 5 times now, I was not able to make this video how I wanted to, and I wish I could do more park builds, but I just can't because it takes so long to transfer the videos from the Xbox, and they don't even record or turn out well. And then all my time that I have to make videos is cut down by that, and then I can't do everything I can with the videos anyway. So I'm probably going to be doing not as many park builds, even though I want to. And I don't have like a computer that can run Prehistoric Kingdom well or anything. But it's fine. We'll still have tours whenever I do parks. I'll get those as best I can. So let's go ahead and start placing trees, because, you know, that's what you're all here for. The exciting content. Placing trees. Oh, not those trees. I did need to cover that mountainside, though. Are we going to place trees yet? Nope. Okay. Oh, yeah, I was just doing more terrain work here. I skipped it, but I had 20 or 30 minutes of... Well, I skipped most of it. I had about 30 minutes of terrain work at the start of this video that I cut out. Alright, so before I add the trees, I'm doing all the planters and lights and such and flags, because it's going to be really hard to place them afterwards. I wanted to add this Biosyn fountain. I actually really like it. I don't use the Biosyn fountains enough, because as good as the fountains are in the game, and they are really good fountains, it doesn't look great to me when you have a fountain every 5 feet, unless it's a specific section where that makes sense, like a lagoon area. So in here, I was just walling this in, because I want this to feel enclosed, like you're walking through, and the Utahraptors could be hiding. You know, when you go to zoos, I'm going to use the zoos example again. At the zoo in my city, they have this, where the gorillas and the chimpanzees are, they have like this bamboo forest that you're walking through. And especially as a little kid, it was like you were in the forest with the gorillas, and it was kind of cool. You know, that just sort of experience of, obviously there's not Utahraptors in the forest, because then my park would get shut down by lawsuits for some reason. You know, just that feeling for the kids, and make this sort of just an immersive park, and having theming is what's really going to sell your park as a zoo, or even if you're not going for a zoo. Just individual area theming is very important, I think. I mean, obviously you do want to keep it consistent to an extent, but you just sort of got to find whatever balance makes sense for your park between consistency and theming. Alright, here we go, adding some trash cans. These flags, these obviously isn't a lagoon, but I just thought the blue color looked really good there, and I wanted to use those flags somewhere in this build. So here we go, scrolling all the way down. I'm using the new planters here, alternating between these, the wavy planters. I really like the wavy planters, but you can only use them occasionally well. I think they turned out okay here. They just are less versatile than the others, as good as they look. They look really good, especially when paired with fountains. They look super neat. But there we go, we got 2 flags. Up there again. I'm almost done decorating this section, I promise. We'll place some trees, then I'll show you guys the exhibits. I'm sure you're all very bored of this by now. Which is, again, the issue with my park builds, that I can't actually make the park build videos that I want to. Because Microsoft needs a better recording platform. Or maybe it's just my Xbox that's a little broken. Which doesn't make sense because I have a new Xbox and I did this on my old Xbox too. If any of you have seen my World Park Building series, if you haven't, watch it. I mean, you don't have to watch the whole thing. But it's entertaining, I think. Anyway, that was on my old Xbox, except for the last episode. And that's... yeah, that was pretty bad still with the recording. I'm trying to make sure there's not tall trees in the way of the view of the viewing platform, especially since you have to go to the weird angle to see the exhibit well. I don't want the default angle to be blocked by a tree. To make this feel more natural, I decided to go in and add some rocks. It's okay, guys, we're almost done with this habitat build. Don't click off the video just yet. I'm sorry I can't do a full Christmas park. I don't think I have time, though. Hopefully next year I can do one, though. Because I think that would be really fun. I just have to be prepared to do one in time. And hope there's not a battle of builders same time next year. Alright, here we go. Here's our habitats with the Utahs. I used the floodlights to show you the view, but also leave space for the Utahs not to just be in the floodlights the whole time. I wanted it to feel like part of the forest, but also have a pretty open view. So I created these little areas that are very dense, but also leave open space between them. And this sort of layered pattern that's centered around the views, which is something I normally don't do. I go for a more natural exhibit, but this time I really tried to consider the views. In this case, just the two viewing platforms. There's our Utahs. I used the white pattern with the blue and the gray because I think it looks really good, especially for like the snow forest. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.